right, this video is for the installation of a mirror cable crossover machine for the assembly. When you receive your machine, it will have the mirror already attached to the unit. As you see, I took it off. When you go to install it into the wall, you see these holes, 3 of them. They're all already set to 16 inches on the center for your beams that's behind the wall. So what you want to do is get a stud finder, find out where your beams are, and put a little mark so you can line the unit up to where you're going to mount. You do have mounts at the bottom of the wall too, where you can mount it from the top and the bottom. So once you find one beam that's 16 inch on the center, the other 2 will line up to the beams as well. So first, like I said, the mirror will be attached. Unscrew the mirror off the frame. The mirror is a tinfoil mirror, so it can't break, but you can put wrinkles in it if you bend it. And so once you mount the unit to the wall studs, make sure you're going into the wood studs and not just into sheetrock. You will feel the wood as you're going in, so you may want to do a little once you find it with the stud finder, take a little sheetrock screw and drill it in just to make sure you're grabbing wood before you go to put these big bolts in, so you don't have big holes in the walls. And if you do, you're going to cover it up if you're going to put the unit in that spot. So mount the unit to the wall. Then your next step will be to put your weight plates on. You'll find these already attached to the unit. Unscrew these, slide them up off the unit. Then you'll see the top weight plate that's hooked to the cable. Slide that up off the post like you see here. Now you want to slide your weight plates from the top and let them go down to the bottom. Put an even amount on both sides, depending on your weight stack. Count how many weight plates you have in the box and then put an even amount on both sides. Once you finish, slide this unit, this weight right back on top of the weight stack, and then slide these back on and mount them back into place. After that, put your mirror back on. You will see this little back bracing. It will go on the bottom as it's just a stop the mirror from flexing in because of the cutout at the bottom. So once you go to mount the mirror on, this will be mounted in place just to stop the sway of the mirror. And once you screw that back on, just make sure all of your cables are routed on the pulleys. While it's in the crate, chances are sometimes these can jump off the pulleys. So make sure they all are back on the pulleys. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a lot of friction and you will tear your cables up once you go to start pulling. So make sure all of these, like this one is off the rails right now. You just have to make sure they're on the rails. Pull on the pulleys to make sure everything is working smoothly before you close up the mirror. And after that, you're pretty much is done. Test your pulleys out. If you have any slack in your cables after you reinstall everything, these are the adjustments to take out slack. So you can unscrew that screw and pull up on the cable to get more slack out of the cables. Okay, important on the information on the pulleys. Once you get all your weight stacks on and tighten up everything else, this right here can spin around. So you just want to set it and make sure it's lined up straight like this, you know, going parallel to the post, and tighten up this nut so it doesn't spin around on you. So once you get both of those tight, and like I said, importantly, make sure all your cables are on the pulley so you don't have any frictions of fraying your cables when you go to pull. Then you want to adjust your cables Like if this is hanging down like this, you want it to go back tight. So if you have to loosen up the screw, pull up on a cable, when you go to loosen up on a screw, it might not move around. You just kind of twist to get it to unlock from that housing, then lift up and tighten up. You'll only have on one side, you'll have the screw, and on this side, you can't really screw from the back, but because of the weight stack is not really heavy, one screw will hold the weight stack. On this side, you will have access to 2 screws. Even if they're already set in place and you don't need an adjustment, just tighten up those screws anyway, because from the factory, they're just hand tight and they will slip through when you go to pull the whole weight stack. So just make sure you tighten up both these screws. Now this is just excess cable. You can clip it off and leave like a few inches. If you don't clip it off, this may drag up and down and you'll hear, you know, the noise as it hits. So you can get some snips and just clip those cables off. And like I said, leave a few inches of room just in case you need to adjust it. You need something to grab onto. Next part is before you close up the mirror, just put some oil on the posts. Put some WD oil on all 4 posts just to make it easier to slide up and down. Also put some WD-40 on these posts too, so you can work this with one hand action instead of grabbing with 2 hands to go up and down.